Hello everyone. Welcome to my live stream. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a wonderful and productive and very prosperous day. Now, what am I talking to you about? I'm talking to you about money and money flow. I like to go over history, current events, economic and business cycles to give you a greater perspective than what you normally have, so that you can make more decisive financial decisions and you can actually have generational prosperity and generational wealth. Now, you're going to have to excuse me because I'm still sick. I'm not feeling well, so I am doing my best to be as accommodating and talkative as I need to be. So please be patient with me. Now, my live stream is solely focused on money. Okay, objectively. Please keep your preferences out of my live stream. Please keep your feelings, your religious, your political, your gender, or whatever other preferences you have, please keep it out of my live stream, because we are focused on having objective conversations about information that is going to stimulate your mind, help you make better decisions, decisive decisions, so that you can stay on the side of money flow. Now, I do have a moderator. My moderator plans my talking points, so please do not take it personally if you get muted. That just means we want you to focus, and/or comments may be distractive. Some of you may get blocked. It's what you wanted anyway, so congratulations, you met your goal. Now, the main thing I need you guys to do is to understand that this is informational, this is educational. I'm here to give you an objective, a unique, a different approach to information, so that you can make less decisions in your emotions and you can start being a shrewd money flow decision maker. Last but not least, I'm going to ask you to tap the screen. If you're here listening to me, I'm going to assume you're looking for some intellectual stimulation. And the best thing I need for you to do is to focus, to answer my questions, and to tap the screen and give me hearts. Can you turn the temperature down? If you're ready to get started, this is what happens. I have two segments. The first part of my segment, I do a deep dive. The first part of my segment, I do a deep dive. The second part of my segment, I'm talking to people about how they can actually either have increased revenue with their businesses and/or save on their marketing and advertising costs. So I want to repeat, if you are a business owner or have an online business and you are not generating the revenue, you do not have the followers, your content's not converting, you don't know what to post, the second part of my live stream is to help you understand that one decision can actually change your business. Second, some of you have business goals and you're not going to reach your business goals because you do not have a structured strategy to help you achieve the income goals that you would like for your business, whether it be cutting expenses or ramping up your business. So if you're interested in know how one decision can change your financial future in regards to your business, and/or you don't know how to create content or increase your followers or get your content to convert to sales, I will touch on that a little bit the second part of my live stream to give you some perspective and let you know that there is a structured strategic approach that can help you change the future of your business immediately. Give me a second. I need the air conditioner on. I'm hot. So if you're ready to get started, let's go. Now, I am sick. I want y'all to know that I am sick. So you're going to have to bear with me and be patient, and I will do the best that I can today because I've committed to being here. I'm going to be here. So we are starting off with Japan. Japan's SMBC Bank is going to take a 20% stake in India's Yes Bank. Now, if you've been watching my live stream, you know very well that the banking industry in Japan is either plateauing and/or not doing well. And Japan's banking industry, they have notated that they do not see Q2 or Q3 performing well. How many people are here? 280. I got 280 people here. If you have no interest in being here, I understand. Just scroll. If you do want to get educated, you want to be informed, I'm going to ask you to tap that screen if you want to be here with me. There's no free rides, okay? I'm busting my ass, we're busting our ass, and I'm asking you to tap that screen for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Japan's bank is taking a 20% stake in another bank in another country. Now, in my head, that's a very intriguing thought because I like to dissect things. When a bank has to go outside its borders to another country, to another region, that means a lot of different things. Now, to me, what I see that Japan banking industry is confirming that their banking industry in Japan is actually slowing down. And it's slowing down at a rate that either they don't like, they don't want to admit, and they're trying to avoid the outcome of what's going to happen over the next quarters. So Japan's bank, SMBC, is taking a very strategic and proactive approach to create the money flow that this bank needs to meet its quarterly profits. Does that make sense? Because for some reason, people, humans, individuals, y'all like to sit there like sitting ducks, confused as to why your income is diminishing, why inflation is eating up your disposable income, and oh, thank you, Venus, and you sit there wondering what's going to happen. You're hearing me talk about a bank in Japan who is experiencing a decrease in revenue, and they are taking a proactive approach, thank you, Venus, to have money flow come into their bank from another direction, from another way. That's some life advice for some of you guys who are watching me. This is some real life advice. When it comes to money flow, if you do not reinvent yourself, if you do not reposition yourself, you run the risk of being on the recession side, the broke money side of money flow. All right, are you with me? So I'm telling you, Japan's SMBC Bank can see what their forecasts, what their loans, what everything's going to be producing, and they know they're not going to be able to meet their revenue targets. So they have taken an approach and they've gone into India. Now, I find that very intriguing again, because if the banking industry is being impacted globally, would anyone like to take a guess why Japan thinks India's banking industry going to do better? I'm going to repeat this question. You and I both know the banking industry globally, they're struggling. Their loans are down. Tariffs are impacting them. You know the banking industry is being impacted. So the fact that a bank in Japan is investing a 20% stake in a bank in India, my brain goes, why would you do that? Unless there's something more behind the scenes. I'm going to repeat this. Global banking industry, they're suffering, okay? They're struggling. Japan takes a large amount of money, Japan's SMBC Bank, and they take that money from their bank and they're investing it in another bank and another country. That should raise a red flag in front of you saying, there's something more behind this. Are you with me? Okay? Are you with me? There's something more behind this. Now, some of y'all would say, wow, that's great for India. It is great for India. But I'm telling you, the timing of it is really questionable. What's happening in India right now? Does anyone know? What is the top news as far as what's happening in India? Would anyone like to take a guess? What's happening in India right now that is catching news, that's making it newsworthy, more newsworthy? Does anyone know what's happening in India? Come on now. I know I have people all over the world in my live stream. What is going on in India right now? Please tell me your thoughts. If you don't know, that's okay. You can look it up and Google what's going on in India that would make Japan, a bank in Japan, want to invest in another bank in India. What is happening? What is happening? Anyone? Come on now. Anyone? I'm waiting. Why do you think Japan, a bank in Japan, is investing in another bank in India when all banks are basically plateauing and do not have growth? What could be possibly going on in India that would make India an attractive market for another bank that's coming from another country? Does anyone know? Yes or no? Yes or no? How many people are here?
390.
I got 390. No, I got 390 people here. Not one person is willing to pick up their iPad and Google why or what is happening in India. I find this really suspicious. You are in an informational live and you don't want information and you're not trying to get information. Listen, guys, I'm sick. I don't have much patience. Okay, thank you, BB. Do you know Can you suspect? Take a guess. Take a risk. My life is about money flow. If you truly want to understand money flow, you have to be. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to call you I am Monique. Thank you, I am Monique. She said, Army. Thank you. What does that mean? That means there's something going on in India. What's happening in India right now? You are correct, I am. I am Monique, you're correct. What is happening in India? Come on, guys. Keep up with me. Okay, come on. What's happening in India? Look it up. You want money flow. You want generational prosperity. You got to get it together. Come on. What's happening in India? I am Monique just gave you a clue. What's happening? What conflict is happening in India? Come on. You want me to proceed forward? I'm just getting started in my life. Yes, I have a lot of words that are blocked, but if you focus, unrest. Thank you, Young Rich. Thank you. I'm telling you, okay, that the bank in Japan, SMBC, has gotten really creative on how it's going to generate the revenue to meet its quarterly profits. Now, typically when you think of banks, you think of loan applications, you think of fees, you think of late fees, you think of all those other things. I am telling you that SMBC is indirectly involving itself in India, indirectly, I want you to focus on this, indirectly involving itself in the funding of the conflict in India through the banking system. Let me know if you heard me. Please tap that screen if you heard me. You see, normally what happens is that people don't want to choose sides. So the easiest way not to choose sides is to do a different approach. Instead of choosing sides, you put your money in circulation in that country, and you put your money there in a way that will make its way to funding the conflict. Do you know why? Do you know why conflict, unrest, armies stimulate an economy? I'm going to repeat. Do you know why unrest, armies, conflicts stimulate an economy that is declining? That is a real question, because I'm trying to teach you guys that money flow comes in many faces. Money flow comes with different masks. And if you can identify when times change that you need to change to get this money flow, you are going to fare better than a lot of other people. Why do you think conflict, unrest, armies can stimulate an economy? Tell me your thoughts. Now, if you've been watching me before, you should know this answer. If you've never watched me before, welcome to my live stream. You actually going to have to put some mental juice into my live stream. Why is it that war stimulates the economy? Now, Doctor, no. I'm not sure if I should mute you or block you, or you're giving me a real answer. So I'm going to mute you. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute you because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Why is it that war, how is it that war, conflict, unrest is able to stimulate an economy? Does anyone know? Now, I know you can answer this, because if you answer directly my question, I know that that answer can get through. Tell me what you think. I want to know what you think now. See, people like to tell me they think I'm angry, they think I'm this, but when I ask you a question, you don't have an answer for me. This is when you answer me. Why do you think war, how do you think war can stimulate an economy? Do you know, yes or no? If you want me to move forward, all you got to do is comment yes or no. How? Yes or no? Because resources get taken from the country. Yes. Thank you, Artie. What else? Resources are taken from the country. Yes. Yes. It's because of spending. Economies grow because of spending. Thank you, Bomac. Thank you. It's because of spending. An economy exists because of different types of spending. And when spending slows, let's say spending for the government slows down, spending from businesses slow down, spending as far as foreign and domestic investment slows down, or even consumer spending slows down, those are the main reasons why an economy slows down. That means there's less money flow, less cash moving through the economy. So when an economy is on the brink of a recession, if you go back into U.S. history and you look at the timing of U.S. involvement and aggressive type of activities, you will see that it's at the precipice of our economy going to the point of no return, which means we don't want to go that deep into a recession. So what am I trying to illustrate to you? Japan's banking industry is slowed down. Why? Because Japan announced and Q1 don't have high expectations. Now, Japan's SMBC, after the conflict in India and Pakistan has started, I want you to notice this. After the conflict between Pakistan and India has started, Japan's SMBC Bank is going to take a 20% stake in India's Yes Bank. Now, India's Yes Bank has had a bit of a problem. In 2020, India's Yes Bank had a bit of a crisis. I'm going to say partly because of COVID-19. And when India's Yes Bank had its financial crisis, the State Bank of India actually invested or took a 50% stake. I'm going to repeat. A state bank, which is India's State Bank, took about a 50% ownership in a private sector bank because they were having a financial crisis in 2020. So what I'm trying to tell you is that a privately owned bank was 50% owned by the state. Now, this is a little different than what happens in the U.S. because U.S. banks typically get welfare money from the government called bailouts. Yeah, I said it. You heard it. Banks in the U.S., when they get a bailout, they get a form of a welfare check from the government, and they're typically not owned by the government. So the fact that the State Bank of India took a 50% share, 50% ownership in a private bank, that is intriguing in itself. You have a private bank that's 50% owned by a state bank. Now, I don't know if that's a conflict of interest or if that is a magnification of interest, but it's a very intriguing move because let me tell you what's happened, okay? When Japan is going to take a 20% stake in Japan's Yes Bank or India's Yes Bank, it's the largest cross-border merger and acquisition deal in India's financial sector. It is the largest cross-border merger and acquisition deal in India's financial sector. That means ka-ching. That means there's a multiplier effect. There is an influx of a lot of money. When money is pumped into an economy, whether it be through the banking industry, the real estate industry, the construction industry, the fintech industry, that usually has a ripple effect throughout the economy. So I want to state that Japan's SMBC action to buy a stake in India is going to cause an influx of economic stimulation in the country of India. SMBC will also acquire a 13.2 stake from the State Bank of India. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Japan is buying a portion of the ownership that India State Bank has in Yes Bank. I'm going to repeat. India State Bank owns a good portion, like 25% now, 25% portion. India State Bank owns about a 25% portion right now of a private bank. Japan has come in and bought a portion of that share from the state bank, which tells me that the state bank needed an influx of cash. Tap that screen if you understand me. India State Bank, during the 2020 financial crisis in India, India State Bank bought a 50% share. Over the last 4 or 5 years, India State Bank had sold off a portion of it over time. Now, Japan swoops in like a falcon, like a hawk, And Japan is buying a portion of the ownership from India's state bank, which means India's state-owned bank needed an influx of cash. Now, why would India's state bank need an influx of cash? Now, when I say state bank, it means it's owned by the government. It's owned by the government. Why now does India's government need an influx of cash at this time? Now, to me, it means they're gearing up for something, but I'm curious to know what you think. Why do you think the State Bank of India has allowed a sale of a portion of its ownership of its private bank to a bank outside of their country unless they wanted money? Do you agree or disagree with me? Please let me know. Do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying? Because anytime a government needs an influx of cash at a time of unrest, I'm telling you, I'm clutching my pearls. Okay, I'm clutching my pearls. Okay, that's what it means. It means they're ramping up. And I'm hoping they're not ramping up in the way that I think they are, but they're ramping up. So if you follow me, please let me know. How many people are here?
408.
I got 408 people. You got to tap. If you're not going to tap, you got to scroll. I'm telling you now, I got 400 people here. I'm talking to you about money flow. I'm talking to you about how Japan's bank is bringing money, redirecting money back into Japan through investing in another country. I just told you that India's state bank just got an influx of cash from Japan during a time where there's unrest. You and I both know you're not getting this anyplace else. You got to tap. You got to tap, 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 tap. Okay? You got to tap. You got to tap. There are plans that are being made. Now, let me tell you a little bit of what's going on, okay? Japan has also invested in 7 other banks. It has invested in Yes Bank through India's state bank, and Japan has also invested in 7 other regional banks. That in itself to me is audacious. They're not just buying shares through India's state bank into a private bank. They have gone and invested in 7 other banks within India that are regional banks. That's called financial setup. It's a financial setup to get money inflowing in a certain way to fund some activities. Now, let me tell you what's happening. Most recently, there's another India-Pakistani conflict that started over Kashmir. Now, does anyone know why the region of Kashmir is so sacred? Is there anyone in my live stream who knows why the region of Kashmir is so sacred? Feel free to answer me. Why is the region of Kashmir so sacred? Okay? This is no different than being in the Middle East, okay? I've given you a clue. The conflict that happens in the Middle East, this is a very similar situation. Why is the region of Kashmir so sacred to Pakistan and India? Please tell me your thoughts, and you may feel free to look it up. Why is it sacred? Why is it sacred? Come on, guys. Humans only get to fight over a few things, okay? Humans are predictable. I don't want to repeat. Humans are predictable on our pettiness. Why is the region of Kashmir headwaters? I'm not sure what that means. You're going to have to tell you. You're going to have to translate. What do you mean by headwaters? Why? I think it's sacred waters. I think you're trying to tell me it's sacred waters. Okay, I'm going to take that. Anyone else? Why is that region sacred? Natural resources, that is correct, Lena. What other reasons? Natural resources, yes, but I'm looking for a more spiritual one. Can someone give me a spiritual reason why Kashmir is sacred? There's a level of spirituality there. Okay, India and Pakistan both believe that Kashmir, holy land. Thank you, knowledgeable one, that it's holy land. It is the land of the gods. They believe the gods live there. Okay? The Middle East is, thank you, Knowledgeable Resources, and thank you, Kimmy, and thank you, Lena, and thank you, Tayu, thank you. That is another sacred region on planet Earth. Now, guys, you know me. I got to ask the questions, okay? You're going to have to forgive me in advance. You have to forgive me in advance. I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm asking you to give me grace on what I'm going to ask. How is it possible that one of the most sacred areas on earth we are fighting on? This is a real question. If we have determined that Kashmir is holy, it's sacred, how can you disrespect such a beautiful, spiritual, mineral, natural, rich region on this earth? This is a real question. This is what I talk about with money flow and human nature. We are fighting over a region in which the gods have been determined to live on. And we're fighting on that land. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense. Because you and I both know, if we went to certain parts of the world, you know what? When you come to a person's home, you take your shoes off at the door before you cross that threshold to show respect to someone's home. So tell me, and I'm sick and I'm not in the mood, tell me how you have a sacred land, how you can desecrate that land by fighting on it. Don't you know that land is bigger than your damn ego? Don't you know that land cannot be owned or controlled by any human being because it's the land of the gods? So I have to ask, which spaceship have you got off of because you need to get picked the hell up? I'm going to repeat this. You're telling me that land is sacred. We all agree. It's holy. It's rich. It should be a land of peace. It should be a land of healing. It should be a land of uplifting. How is it that we cannot put our egos to the side, leave that land alone, leave that land in peace, and give it the respect that it's due? That's a real question. If you believe that land is sacred and you believe it's holy, how is it that you're fighting over something that is bigger than you, that is more sacred than you, that has existed before you and will exist after you? Why don't you recognize a power that is bigger than you? Because if you actually respected that and you truly respected the gods, you would leave something more powerful than you. You would leave it alone. If you understood that that was the land of the gods and it's still the land of the gods, you would not mess with the gods. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Because what you're doing is you're messing with the flow of energy. Now, I've said this before. Money is energy. Prosperity is energy. Spirituality is energy. Just like negativity is energy. Happiness is energy. So you happen to have a beautiful place next to your country that is full of riches on so many different levels. And you are disturbing that energy that's supposed to bless you and so many other people around. And blessings come in many different ways, shape, or forms. So I'm going to ask this again. If you actually believe that that land is sacred and it should be protected and it should be respected and it should be preserved, why are you fighting on that land? Does anyone have an answer for me? I told you you're going to have to forgive me in advance. Please tap that screen. How many people are here?
370.
I got 370. You and I both know I got a valid question. You don't have to like each other to respect that that land is holy. You don't have to like each other, thank you, Larry, to respect that land is bigger than you. You can't own the gods. I think that's the first problem. Human beings think that you can own the gods. That means you don't understand what you're working with. And you're impacting the money flow of the region. Thank you, Larry. What are you doing? So when I tell you about money flow and I talk to you about history and I talk to you about current events, You are disturbing a power, a force that is bigger than your ego. What are you doing? Because peace brings prosperity. Stability brings prosperity. Peace and stability brings health, healing, and longevity. And all of that is a part of amassing wealth and riches. So I'm going to ask you again. If the land is sacred, yes. It is holy, yes. We all agree that the gods live there. What makes you think that you can own a land that you can never possess? You're trying to own something that you cannot possess. That's like the Tower of Babel. This is a Tower of Babel. This is a Tower of Babel type of mentality. You think you can build your way to something that is beyond you because you actually respected the energy, the flow, and understood how the universe worked. You would not interfere with something that you and I know extends in the past and the future beyond you. So why are you fighting? Why are you fighting? You are destabilizing your economy. Now, on one hand, India is stimulating its economy, but this stimulation is short term. It's not sustainable. How many times do you need to fight? You have to see destruction. You're destroying a sacred land because you're confused about who should own it. Nobody owns it. It's not yours. You just happen to be blessed to be in that region of the world in which you can receive its blessings. You're trying to own something that is not yours to possess. So why can't you live in peace? Why can't you have stability? Why can't you have economic prosperity? And why can't you come together, get blessed in that land, and go back to your corners and live your life? This is how human beings interrupt the flow of money. This is how human beings stunt their economic growth, and they get stuck in a pattern of destruction and poverty because they cannot get out of their way. Do you think by owning Kashmir, if you can own it, you think it's going to bring you riches? It's going to bring you power? It's going to bring you glory? I think that's counter to what that's supposed to be. Are you supposed to amass power off of the energy and the blessings of Kashmir? Are you trying to become more powerful off the energies of possessing Kashmir? Because that means you don't respect the gods. Are you trying to become a god? Or are you respecting the gods? Because you're telling me that you're fighting, which means you're trying to possess the gods to become a god. And if you're not trying to possess the gods and you can't become a god, then you will respect the gods. Yes or no? Because to respect the gods means you have to be peaceful. You have to be respectful. You have to be tolerant. You have to be compassionate. You have to be forgiving. You have to be understanding. And you have to be self-aware. Because when you have those attributes, that is how a nation will prosper. And that is how the region prospers. So I'm going to ask you again. Okay, how many people are here? 300. I got 300 people. Yeah, I know I'm making some of you upset. But I got to ask the question. Do you want prosperity? Do you want health and longevity? Do you want peace and stability? Because if that is truly what you want, your decisions don't look like that. This has been going on for so long. I'm starting to question what's going up here. It doesn't make sense, okay? This long stemming fight started because of Britain. I want y'all to know this. This is another case of outside influence, outside factor coming in and causing mayhem and disruption. I talked about it before with Syria. I talked about it with Nigeria. I've talked about it in the Middle East. This is another prime example of you guys falling into, that region falling into a trap. I like to call it a money trap, a broke mindset money trap. You and I both know there was an outside force that came in and caused disruption, that caused division. And instead of you aligning and getting a common goal of economic prosperity and uplifting each other, money, correct, D, uplifting each other and having a common goal, whether you agree spiritually or not, If you can understand that as a human being, you need education, you need health, you want wealth and prosperity, you want to raise your family, you want to enjoy life, instead of coming to an agreement on the basic things that make human beings happy, you know what you're doing? You're fighting over petty stuff, which is interfering with your GDP. I told you yesterday, I gave you clear examples yesterday of how a country's GDP is a reflection of their decision-making and activities. I'm going to say it again. If you want to know how well a country is doing, you look at its GDP. If you compare the GDP of India to Pakistan, I can guarantee you they don't match. And there's reasons why they don't match. What is it that you're trying to achieve? There is a lack of vision. There is a lack of money flow. And you're fighting over something that is a distraction. You had a divisive force come into your region, divide you up, and left y'all fighting. Do you not see sabotage? It's the same thing that happened in the Middle East. How is it that you're living out the same colonial, dysfunctional cycle years now in the future? I'm going to repeat this. How is it that this region of the world is living out the same colonial, dysfunctional cycle? When are you going to realize you just got set up to be in a state of destruction and financial destitution over some things that happened in the past? That tells me you don't know your history. Because if you go back in India's history, go back in Pakistan's history, you will realize there are riches. There's information, there's knowledge. You don't know your history. Because if you know your history, you would figure out what you did well then. You would transfer those skills, that knowledge set to the future, and you would get down to business. You're fighting over colonial bullshit, and you have not been able to fully move ahead. And I'm going to say to you, that's your responsibility. You can't keep blaming Britain for something they did when you've had more than enough time to fix it and to get India and Pakistan back onto its economic and rightful glory that you deserve and you're due. You heard what I said. How many generations need to go by before you realize, okay, that's over. We need to fix this. We have a sovereign nation. We have our rights. Let's get our nation back to how glorious it was. Because let me tell you something about colonialism. When you have other countries that are going outside their borders, that means they're in need. I'm telling you something very profound, and I want to make sure you emphasize this. How many people are here? I have 285 people. I'm going to give you a gold nugget right now. I need you to tap the screen. The purpose of colonialism was that those nations were going broke. Broke. And instead of them adjusting their lifestyle, what they did is they got on ships and they sailed around the world because they were in need. They were in need. That's why you got conquered. Because the other nation was going broke and they refused to go broke. And instead they chose to take. So when I talk to you today about how a bank from another country is investing in another bank and another country, this is a modern day form of financial colonialism. I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. You see, you think of colonialism as a ship landing on your shores. Welcome to the digital age. With the digital age, it's just a transfer of money. It's a transfer of money, which is how the U.S., a lot of the U.S. is owned by China. It's called financial economic colonialism. Because you're not managing your economy correctly. You're not aware of what's happening. You see a sum of money with 6 zeros, 9 zeros showing up in your bank account, and you start clicking your heels like Dorothy from Wizard of Oz because there's a certain amount of money coming. You're not thinking about the midterm, the long-term effects of what this infusion of cash, what that means. You're not thinking about how you can leverage that infusion of cash and make sure that it's in your economic advantage over the short, mid, and long term. Your vision is too short. And your lack of understanding of money flow and the hidden costs of this influx of cash is what keeps countries financially colonized. You want an example? Nigeria. Nigeria keeps taking out loans. Nigeria keeps taking out loans. Not because it doesn't have access to rich natural resources. It's because if it's a mismanagement, it's a misallocation, and it's a misunderstanding about how to leverage your riches in a modern day economy. So what's happening is that India and Pakistan is still fighting over Kashmir, a region that was created when the British left. They made sure they left you with a gift. Thank you, Kimmy. My voice. They're making sure they left you with a gift. They left you with a gift called chaos, confusion, and keep you divided. Do you understand? They have left you with the gift to keep you divided and fighting. And you keep falling forward. So when you're ready to really get rich, thank you, Kimmy, when you're really ready to get rich and you're ready to play this money game and you're ready to rise and lift your country up to its rightful place on this economic global economy, then you're going to get focused and you're going to get serious. Now, here's the problem. India and Pakistan both are saying they didn't do it. Whatever activity that has caused this aggression between India and Pakistan, both of them were saying, I didn't do it. And they're fighting over the fact that they didn't do it. They're pointing fingers at each other. Let me give you the third option. Is it possible that neither India nor Pakistan did it? Think about what I'm saying. India and Pakistan are having missiles going back, okay? Because they're fighting about who did the aggressive activity in Kashmir. I'm asking you to think about this. This is called the third option. Is it possible that neither India nor Pakistan did it? And you two are fighting. Think about what I'm saying. India and Pakistan has been relatively peaceful over Kashmir for a while. All of a sudden, there's some activity, aggressive activity that happens in Kashmir. Both sides are basically saying, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Is it possible that neither one of them did it and someone else did it? Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Dusty. Is it possible that someone else did it? Because they know how you're going to behave. You're going to get distracted. Pakistan, instead of focusing on your income growth, instead of focusing on your panda bond, Pakistan, instead of you selling your panda bond, you're fighting with India. India, instead of focusing on you possibly having Apple produce phones in your country, you're fighting with Pakistan. You're not focused. It takes something like this to redirect your focus and get you off your money game. And both of you could have possibly not did it. Someone else could have did it. And you won't know because you keep fighting with each other instead of working with each other. Which is why your economies are not thriving at full throttle. Did you ever think of that? Thank you, Dusty. That someone else did it. Because someone else did it means they knew that you were going to fight. They knew you were going to fight. And guess what that means? It means that war is now boosting India's economy. And now India is attracting foreign investment. Have I shocked y'all? I want to give you a moment to catch up with me. India now is attracting foreign investment in their banking industry. The State Bank of India needed an influx of cash. You need an influx of cash to fund war. Is it possible that neither Pakistan nor India did that deed in Kashmir? Is it possible? Because normally if someone does something, they say, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. Pakistan has no problem announcing how many missiles they shot over. India has no problems announcing how many missiles they shot over. So if they have no problem announcing what they're doing, then I don't see why they wouldn't say I did this unless someone else did it. Now, all of a sudden, after it's happening, India has an infusion of cash in their banking industries, and the government has an influx of money. This is money flow. This is strategic money flow. Because why invest in India? Why not invest in banking in Malaysia? Why not invest in banking in Nigeria? Why not invest in banking in the US? Why India right now? Huh? Now here's the thing. Pakistan and India have long-standing issues stemming from British colonial influence over India. They separated the region into a Muslim majority in Pakistan and a Hindu majority in India. Banks that invest large stakes in other banks, they can profit off of the other party's investment activities. Banks, foreign banks that invest in another country's banks get to profit off of the investment activities of the banks in that domestic country. Banks invest in foreign banks that have growth potential. Growth potential. Now, what I'm going to share with you right now, this information is for my next live stream, but I'm going to seal the deal on this before I go to my second portion of my live stream. In my next live stream on my other account, I'm going to be continuing this story. But what I want you to know is this. Japan has trading houses. Japan's trading houses facilitates the buying and selling of goods in many industries. Japan's trading houses also engage in investment activities. Now, if you go to my next live stream, I will be telling you that Japan's trading houses is basically predicting a 40% growth in what? Aerospace and defense? Correct. Japan's trading houses, one particular trading house, is expecting a 40% growth in aerospace and defense. I'm going to repeat what I said. Japan has trading houses. Japan's trading houses help Japan secure its interests. Part of the things that Japan's trading houses do, they connect buyers and sellers with goods in all different industries worldwide. They also invest. So they know what's being bought and sold, and they know how to invest in those industries because they had that information. It has just been recently announced by one of Japan's trading houses that they expect a 40% growth in aerospace and defense. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Now, why would they do that? Because one of Japan's banks thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you. Because Japan's bank just made a move, 20% stake in India. So what am I telling you? How does Japan know that there's going to be a 40% growth in aerospace and defense unless they know where the fighting is going to happen? I'm just saying. Now, if you want more of this information, you're going to have to follow me to my next live stream. But I'm telling you, there's no way there's going to be a 40% growth. 40% growth in aerospace and defense unless you expect some people to be fighting. Yes or no? You don't get that type of growth unless you expect some real fighting to occur. Yes or no? I think some of you are shocked. So how did they do it? One bank in Japan invested in a few banks in India and Pakistan. They're fighting. The government of India just got an infusion of cash from foreign investment. And now the trading houses in Japan are expecting a 40% increase. And they also said they do not see U.S. tariffs impacting them. They do not see U.S. tariffs impacting their growth, which means they're not doing business in the U.S. Welcome to my live stream. I'm going to repeat. When one of Japan's trading houses was asked about the impact of U.S. tariffs, they were not worried about U.S. tariffs, which means they're not in the U.S. So when I tell you about diversifying, and I tell you about money flow, and I'm telling you money is flowing in the path of least resistance, you must trust and believe whether the U.S. and China comes to an agreement in Switzerland. It really doesn't matter because other countries are making real moves and they're redirecting money flow and they're going to meet their revenue goals, their revenue targets. And I just gave you some information. Let's see how it plays out. Now, those of you who do not know, I'm moving over to the second portion of my live stream. I will be talking more about this from a Japanese trading house perspective in my second live stream. So if you want to continue this with me, my other account is called Live, Love, Earn. Now, for the rest of you who are leaving me, thank you for being with me. But let's talk to the people. Hi, Artie. Let's talk to y'all who have a business. You don't know what type of content to create. Your content is not generating sales. You don't know what's going wrong with your business. Let me tell you. It only takes one decision to get your business on the financial track that you want. If you do not know how to create content or use social media to translate that into revenue, that means there's a lack of skill. There is a lack of knowledge. And when you get that skill, you get that knowledge, your business bottom line will reflect that. A number of you are promoting digital products, or you have Etsy shops, or whatever online business you have. But you and I both know your revenue does not match the amount of money you may be spending on advertising, or it may not even equate to the amount of energy you're putting into the content that's not attracting your customer. You're not growing. You have no forward momentum. You are confused. You are lost. You don't know who you're talking to. And frankly, you're not making a living. You're not making an income. Does that sound like it resonates with any of you? If that sounds like you, please tap the screen. Because if you're not able to leverage social media and not spend money and generate the income, the six-figure income or whatever income you desire, that means you're not doing it correctly. There are 5 billion people online. And they are worldwide. And there's no reason why you do not have the income that you deserve or you need. Now, some of you have created your own digital products, but your product is not moving. And that's what I tell people. I tell people continuously, it doesn't matter how great your product is. If you do not know how to attract your customer, and you don't know how to speak to your customer, and you don't know how to generate the momentum and or take your social media following and turn that into money, you might want to listen. There is a strategic run that is getting ready to get started today, which means business owners are being taught the skills they need to take their business from zero, whatever your version of zero is, and ramp it up, by giving you a better strategy, a clear, concise strategy on what type of content to produce, how to produce that content, when to use it, how to leverage social media, how to grow a following, how to take that following and turn that into money. If you don't know how to do that, I would suggest you go to my website. Because on my website, you will clearly see a list of details that will tell you, show you what you will learn and how. Next, some of you are promoting digital products and you're not earning a lot of money. Some of you have created your own community. Some of you have created your own classes. Some of you've created products and you spent all this time and you have no money to speak for. We have to fix that. Because you and I both know there are billions of dollars of revenue that's being earned digitally online. which means there's no reason why you're not earning six-figure income sitting from home unless there's some fundamental skill sets that you're missing. So the first problem you have is probably your digital product is priced too low. You're offering products that are not high value products. Because when you have high value digital products, you don't need as many customers to earn the income that meets your financial goals. Now, next you're saying, what do I create? Guess what? Go to my website. Now, some of you are saying, I can't grow my following. Guess what? You should be able to. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. So if you don't know how to gain a following on social media and then turn that following into cash, guess what? Go to my profile, go to my website. Next, some of you guys get confused about content. How are you confused about content? You know your product, right? Do you know your ideal customer? So if you don't have an idea of your ideal customer, you don't know how to speak to your ideal customer, you don't know how to attract your ideal customer, then it makes sense why your business is not going financially the way you want it to go. The main reason why a lot of businesses do not meet their business goals is that they do not have a structured strategy, and they do not understand how to leverage the power of social media and get it to translate into revenue. At the end of the day, this is about money. This is about strategic profits. This is not about landing your way accidentally to wealth. No, you want a pattern, a roadmap, a blueprint that you can replicate and follow so that you can do this over and over again. If you are guessing your way to success, you're doing trial and error, or you're confused, you are wasting time and you're leaving cash on the table. There's no reason why you can't take your digital business and have it in profit mode like that. If you can't take your digital business or online business and turn it into profit mode like that, that means you have overhead that is unnecessary. That means you're engaging in activities that are not income earning activities. You heard me. Some of you are engaging in activities that are not income earning activities. Yeah. If you don't know how to focus on income earning activities, your revenue, your bottom line is going to be a direct reflection of that. So you need to be taught and showed how to focus on income earning activities, how to shrink your workday, how to monopolize a puzzle. Hold on. Puzzle's gone. You need to understand all of this, and that will get you on your path to success. Now, what do you need to do? It only takes one decision to turn your business around. And all it takes is one strategy, structured strategy that you can replicate, emulate over and over again for however many streams of income that you want. You want more than one stream of income? You will be taught how to have multiple streams of income. But you need the information. So what I suggest for all of you, go to my profile, go to my website. Next, you have business owners. You're spending a lot of money on marketing and advertising. There's a way for you to cut your marketing and advertising costs. There's also a way for you to have a business which costs you $0 in regards to marketing and advertising. I'm going to repeat. Some of you feel a need to spend money on marketing and advertising. I'm telling you, you do not have to spend the amount of money that you've been spending on marketing and advertising to achieve the financial success that you want. For some of you, if you're interested in a $0 marketing strategy, go to my profile, go to my website. Some of you, if you're interested in learning how to cut your marketing costs by having a strategic marketing strategy that works, that doesn't cost you any money, go to my website. I'm not going to go into more detail because, guys, my throat, I'm spent, I'm tired. But all I'm going to say is all the details that you want are on my website in detail. There is a 90-day business strategy run that's getting started. There is a 90-day business marketing strategy run that's getting started today. And the sooner you look into this and you get on the ball is the decision between the success that you're looking for or staying in a state of confusion and not having the revenue that you want. You don't want to have a business that's cash poor. You want to have enough money for your business so that it's successful, So you got to stop wasting your money unnecessarily so that you have the cash flow to sustain your business, to get to the success that you want and break even. And sometimes you need help. And the sooner you realize you need help, and there's a model, a blueprint that you can follow, you could be on your way to living the life of your dreams. Thank you. Have a good night. My other account is Live, Love, Earn. DM me if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. My website has a lot of details. For all you analytical people like me, it goes into unbelievable details. Everyone else, the 90-day financial marketing strategy is starting today. And if you want to be taken step by step, beginner friendly, and a simple way to turn your business around, it takes one decision and it takes action. And then you're on the ground running. Thank you for your time. Take care. Goodbye.